Hi, I'm Governor Scott Walker watching LYNXX 24, connecting you to the community.
Hello, welcome to LYNXX 24. I'm April Frelke, your host on the 24, here with my co-host, Melissa Carroll. Well, this week on LYNXX 24, we are joined by New Lisbon School Superintendent Dennis Birr, who's here to fill us in on the referendum questions that will be posed to voters in the April 3rd spring election. And in our February edition of the Organic Foodie, we are tackling the challenge of eating gluten-free with comfort food recipes that are made all that much better with some of our favorite Organic Valley products. And we'll have a little special guest with us too with Organic Valley.
Yay.
Yes.
That's exciting.
So, Melissa, I know you interviewed the ladies from Arsenic and Lace. Did you get to see it?
I did. I went last weekend on Saturday night.
Okay.
And they did an excellent job. It was a really good show.
Oh.
And you know, the ACT stage is not very big.
Okay.
And there's 14 people in that cast.
Oh, so does it, like, what does it, there's a lot for the small stage?
Well, because they're not all on there at once, but there's a lot of entrances and exits.
Yes, because there's a lot of stories going along with
Yes.
those two women. So
Yes.
is it available this weekend?
Yes, it also runs through Sunday, I believe.
Okay, so that'll be something fun to
Yeah,
catch
make
if
sure
you
you
didn't.
get out and see it. It's good.
Okay, great. Well, this week's Connect 24 is brought to you by Rudig Jensen in New Lisbon. If the primary numbers are any indication of what the April-spring election will bring, this could be a good year for the mayoral challengers in New Lisbon and in Tomah. In the February 20th primary, New Lisbon voters chose incumbent Mayor Lloyd Chase and challenger Jacob Calise to move on to the April 3rd ballot. Calise received 121 votes, while Chase received 61, and fellow challenger Mike Neitzel 34. In Tomah, voters chose incumbent Mayor Nellie Pater to face off against challenger Mike Murray in April. Murray blew out the competition in the February primary, receiving 529 votes compared to Pater's 154 and challenger Marion Kaminsky's 110. And in addition to mayoral races, Wisconsin voters also chose Sauk County Judge Michael Skrinock and Milwaukee County Judge Rebecca Dallett to go head-to-head for the 10-year term on the state's Supreme Court election in the spring.
So lots of election things going on.
April will be a big voting month.
Yes, it will. Well, the Monroe County Economic Development Conference took place at Three Bears in Warrens this week. The annual conference is a regional event that attracts over 300 people from over 20 counties in the state who come together to talk about issues facing businesses in the Badger State, with one of the biggest issues discussed this year being workforce. Jerry Detchton and the executive director of the League of Wisconsin Municipalities said for the first time in the state's history, we're facing the issue of decline. Over the next 22 years, the 65-plus population in the Badger State will grow by 72%, and Wisconsin will need a minimum of 45,000 additional workers just to fill the jobs that will be left by retirees. But the problem is there aren't enough young people to fill the void. He said, for the sake of Wisconsin's economic future, we need to start talking about immigration, both in the form of attracting people from other states and from other countries. He also said that Governor Walker has asked the legislature to fund an advertising campaign in Chicago to try to attract millennials. Another avenue for growth is finding ways to encourage new startup businesses. Last year, for the third year in a row, Wisconsin ranked dead last in the U.S. in new business startups. But the one place in the state where new businesses are starting is Madison. He also quoted, "We need to embrace the places that are working. Not all startups are going to be in Madison. The great thing about the digital age is work can be done anywhere." And this is true.
That is very true. And Governor Walker addressed the issue of workforce at the conference as well, saying that the state is working with tech, private, and the UW's college system to help young people find jobs, in addition to providing increased vocational training for those leaving correctional systems, and is targeting Midwest millennials, graduates, transitioning veterans, and families to recruit more people for the Wisconsin workforce. Quote, "Who would have thought that we would have needed to start recruiting, bringing more talent into the state," Walker said. "We want people in the game, and we are going to need more to recruit more even than ever before, despite the workforce issue that the state is facing," Walker said. "Wisconsin is working," he added. "The state is #1 in the nation for healthcare. We're putting more dollars into K through 12 education than ever before. The economic impacts of tourism are up, and the state is committed to making sure every part of Wisconsin is connected to high-speed internet over the next 2 years. But one of the biggest things he hears when he travels the state is that people want their kids and grandkids to stay in Wisconsin. And state leaders are doing what they can to keep people here or bring them back, reminding them of the great things that Wisconsin has to offer. We're proud of our families, our homes and communities and state. Walker said, "We're Wisconsin proud."
Well, Walker held a press conference after his conference speech, and LYNXX 24 asked the governor about his plans for providing further protection to our school-aged children, given incidents like the one in Florida that took place earlier this month. Here's what he had to say.
There's a number of things we need to do. I was just talking this last week with our Attorney General, with law enforcement professionals, as well as school district officials. We're looking at ways not only with direct safety, but even indirectly. In the last maybe 2 years, year and a half, I guess it is, that we've been doing listening sessions around the state. One of the things that specifically came out of that was school officials telling us about their concerns about mental health. Not just what we hear in this last week about a specific individual, but just overall mental health issues. And so in the budget I signed at the end of the summer, we put millions of dollars of new money in specifically for school districts to tap into to provide more mental health assistance in the school. In the past, we put that funding, and we still provide it at the county level, but that was really when people get the crisis level and the help the county can provide. This is up front in the school district to help deal with some of the mental health issues they identified. Again, nothing as horrific as what we just talked about this last week, but the build up to that to try and avoid that. I think overall we're also going to work with, again, law enforcement and school district officials about, are there additional things? Are there grants? Are there assistance? Are there other ways we can help school districts make sure that they've got plans, not just how to react, but how to be prepared, whether it's looking at securing entrances, whether it's looking at making sure that there's security staff on site at any of our schools, big and small alike. It's really got to be a comprehensive approach.
I'm really glad to hear him say that they are putting more money in at that level to start to offset that, because that is if you start then, you won't get to that crisis point.
Right. You're talking mental health?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that is a really good point, is the mental health piece for people.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations to New Lisbon graduate Cullen Peterson for being named Outstanding Airman of the Year by the Wisconsin National Guard. Peterson was one of 4 guardsmen chosen for Outstanding Airman of the Year honors out of all 3 National Guard bases in the state of Wisconsin. Peterson serves as a surveillance technician with the 128th Air Control Squadron at Volk Field, where he is responsible for reporting and tracking aircraft. Chief Master Sergeant Thomas Safer said Peterson and the 3 others chosen for the 2018 awards exemplify the very meaning of what an American airman is all about. He said, quote, "They demonstrate outstanding leadership, job performance, and superior airman qualities every day." Peterson, a New Lisbon native, is currently studying at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Well, congratulations.
Yes, congrats. And finally, here's what's been happening in New Lisbon sports. Congrats to Rocket wrestler Caleb Baumgart, who is advancing to the state wrestling meet in Madison, taking place February 22nd through 24th at the Kohl Center. Caleb came in 3rd in his weight class at sectionals, and the top 3 in each category advanced to state. You can catch Caleb and other state wrestlers live on the NFHS network beginning at 3 p.m. on February 22nd. And also our very own Dawson Lambert from Toma is at state.
Congratulations, Toma.
Yes. So from all of us here at LYNXX 24, good luck Caleb and Dawson. Turning to basketball, the boys varsity team defeated Waniwak Center on February 15th, 63-59. Cody Hashek led the team with rebounds and a game-high 27 points, while Zach Lau scored 11 points and Holden Rymark added 10. The playoff road for the Lady Rockets basketball team ended February 17th with a 64-41 loss to Royal. And finally, if you're into powerlifting, the 2018 Wisconsin High School Powerlifting Association will be holding the state meet at Mauston High School on March 11th, 10th, and 11th.
And Mauston has quite a crew of the powerlifters that made it to state. Yeah,
awesome.
they've had that on their Twitter account and stuff.
Oh,
so.
good. Well, congrats to them.
Well, we'll leave you with this feel-good story for your week. A group of Toro executives from Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin served at the VA recently while in town for meetings at the Toma office. The company reached out to the Toma VA asking if their executive staff could serve during the VA's National Salute to Veteran Patients Week. which took place February 11th through the 17th. Each day of the week was filled with events where community members sponsored or assisted with activities, said the VA representative Jennifer Konzemius. The executives from Toro helped with a social event where they helped escort veterans and participated in karaoke where they sang the song Sweet Caroline. Isn't that great?
It's great.
Well, this week's Connect 24 has been brought to you by Rudig Jensen in New Lisbon. When we come back, I'll be joined by New Lisbon Superintendent Dennis Birr, who's here to give us the details on the referendum questions New Lisbon voters will be finding on their spring ballot. But first, here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
Hi, this is Dave Troop from Rudig Jensen, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Business LYNXX. This is one of our demo trucks that we have upfitted. The new 5500 Ram has a 9'2" stainless steel DTX Boss snowplow. Also has a Boss 9000 auger salt spreader. The truck is completely ready to go for all your snow removal needs. It also can be used in the summertime as a regular dump truck with removable sides, so it makes loading, unloading the back of the truck very easy.
The people of F&M Bank have been serving Tomah and the surrounding community for over 100 years. With 3 locations and a full suite of mobile services, we make doing business with us convenient and easy. Free bill pay, mobile app, remote deposit capture, even free person-to-person payments. We also have loan and savings options, along with a complete lineup of business banking and cash management options. F&M Bank, banking solutions from people you trust.
I'm here to demonstrate LYNXX speed, and with me I have physics teacher Doc Schreckle to check my math. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second, and the circumference of the Earth is 24,901 miles. So if you divide this into that, you get 7.46. That means that if you were to send an email, it'd travel around the world more than 7 times in less than 1 second.
That is correct.
And that's fast.
I'm Stephanie Johnson, and I am a registered nurse with the infusion department at Tomah Memorial Hospital. I love the people I work with. Everybody is always helpful, and they're great to just be around every day when I have to come to work.
My name is Kristen Gerke. I'm one of the speech pathologists here at Tomah Memorial, and I've been here for 13 years. I enjoy working at Tomah Memorial because of the one-on-one care that I get to provide with my patients.
At Tomah Memorial, we've been taking care of our community for 65 years.
Hi, I'm Josh Tully from The Josh Tully Show. You're watching LYNXX 24, connecting you to the community.
Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Welcome back to LYNXX 24. I am joined by New Lisbon Schools Superintendent Dennis Birr, who's here to give us the details on the referendum questions the district is putting in front of the voters in the April spring election, with the hopes of bringing in more funding for both everyday operations and athletic field improvements. Welcome, Superintendent Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, let's just get right into what's on the ballot.
Sure.
Do you want to just start with what's
Sure.
on the ballot?
There's 2 questions. The first one, it will say something like this: to exceed the revenue limit by $525,000 for 4 years, non-recurring. And the second question is to borrow an amount not to exceed $1.5 million for the purpose of paying the cost of updating outdoor athletic facilities.
So those 2 questions you'll have 2 answers
Correct.
to give on those questions.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
They can vote yes and no to one or the other, or yes to both, no to both, whatever they feel is appropriate.
Right. We'd hope they vote yes to both.
That's the purpose.
That's the purpose. So let's get into what's the tax impact. I bet that's a big question you're hearing from
Sure.
New Lisbon residents and voters.
That's the bottom line everyone wants to know. And the good thing is that we had a payment for a debt issue from 20 years ago when we built the new elementary school, library, some tech ed areas, some math classrooms. And that payment was larger than the cost of these 2 referendum issues. So even if both of these are voted approved, taxes will still go down about $33 on a $100,000 property. So this is just a great time to ask because taxes are going down.
Right, and it's that debt that will end.
Right.
So yes, I remember 20 years ago when I was a former.
It went fast.
It went fast, but when you rebuilt
Sure.
the schools and things like that. So
Sure.
that is really, I think that's a really important part of this whole thing that viewers would understand.
Sure.
That debt will be gone.
Yes, and because that debt's gone and the cost of these two is less than that debt payment. So if we're going to ask, this is the time to make it ask, because your tax will go down. Even if both are voted approved, if one voted no, it'll go down a little bit more. If they both fail, it'll go down a lot. So this is the chance to see if the community would like to add more money to the school, mostly to keep our programming, not make any cuts, to keep all the small class sizes. We want to increase some of our safety things. One of the things we want to do is the better cameras on the outside of the school to see who's coming to the building, our playground. And then there's a lot of buildings and grounds issues, things that need to be taken care of. Buildings 20 years old need work. So it's about time to fix some of the things on the building too.
Okay, and that then that was the question, and you know, if our viewers could see this is I'm going to show this to the viewers. This is the public blue document that was sent out by the school district to the mail for all our viewers. So it's a very nice. This is a very good, thorough description of what we're covering today during this interview. So then. What will the district do if the referendum passes? So,
well, if it passes, the first thing is to upgrade our security cameras. Okay. It'll also keep us functioning the way we are, not cutting technology, keeping the same student, teachers, staffing.
Sure. Class size, you said.
Yeah, class sizes where we are, to just keep educating the kids we have been doing. But then we'll also be able to fix some of the things that are wrong, that need fixing. We have a lot of really old equipment, whether it's a kitchen, freezer cooler, some rooftop units. They've really live their normal life expectancy. We've tried to really take care of them well, and they've lasted longer than would have been expected, but they're going to need replacing soon, so we're trying to be proactive and get some money to take care of these things, and they'll be more energy efficient also, because they'll be newer models of things that work better, and it's just being a proactive approach to take care of our buildings.
And with we have about 30 seconds left. And where could viewers find more information if they have further questions for you or the district about the referendums?
Sure. Well, the things you saw here, those are all on our district website. And also there's a video of me making a presentation like I do to some community leaders. You can also watch the full presentation there online.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for coming into the LYNXX. Well, don't forget that the district is holding 2 community engagement sessions taking place at 7 p.m. on February 26th and March 7th in the school library to provide information regarding the spring referendum to anyone from the community with questions or who would like to find out more information. When we come back, it's the February edition of the Organic Foodie. Don't go anywhere.
Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
I'm Stephanie Johnson, and I am a registered nurse with the infusion department at Toma Memorial Hospital. I love the people I work with. Everybody is always helpful, and they're great to just be around every day when I have to come to work.
My name is Kristen Gerke. I'm one of the speech pathologists here at Toma Memorial, and I've been here for 13 years. I enjoy working at Toma Memorial because of the one-on-one care that I get to provide with my patients.
At Toma Memorial, we've been taking care of our community for 65 years.
Because the health and well-being of your family are precious, you can trust Robbie's Pharmacy to make your privacy our priority. At Robbie's Pharmacy, your prescription consultations are both personal and discreet. Explain your medications and answer questions you may have. Robbie's Pharmacy has a solid commitment to you and our local New Lisbon community. Robbie's Pharmacy, the personal service you want with the professional staff you deserve.
I guess you could say I'm a purist. If you want a quality product, you have to source the best ingredients out there. Great coffee isn't just made, it's milked.
The secret to a good cup of coffee is our pasture-raised cows. Cows love grass, and we got a great blend for them. It has some earthy tones. There's a real grassiness to it. People have been using Organic Valley, half and half, to make the best cup of coffee for over 20 years. So it made sense that one day we'd open our own coffee shop in some hip neighborhood in New York City. I just saw a girl carrying a ukulele. You can order organic half and half in 3 sizes. A little bit, a double, or a lotta. And you just have to add the coffee. It's over there.
Got a double for Gina? Do you have coffee?
It's the world's best coffee. Just add coffee. You'll find it in the dairy aisle.
You're watching LYNXX 24.
Connecting you to the community.
Smell good. Welcome back to LYNXX 24 and welcome to the February edition of the Organic Foodie. Gluten-free options have grown by leaps and bounds on grocery store shelves. And with more choices available, there's also a growing number of recipes to help create gluten-free renditions of classic favorites in your own kitchen. Whether you eat gluten-free for medical reasons or for the health benefits, we've merged some of our gluten-free faves with Organic Valley products to create gluten-free eats that you will want to recreate in your own kitchen. Well, so why go gluten-free? Some people do it for medical reasons like celiac disease, and then others for health reasons, finding that they feel better when they're avoiding all of that processed food, wheat and flour specifically. So if you're interested in losing weight, avoid processed grains. Just ask any farmer. How do you fatten a cow? You feed it grains. Other foods contain a highly ground flour, whether from wheat, rice, or other grains, and they stimulate an undesirable jump in blood sugar. So they, the glycemic and the carb source, the more quickly the blood sugar will rise. So a better alternative for that, sprouted grains and nut flours. So we want to welcome our special guest, Lexi, to the Organic Foodie. So you eat completely gluten-free?
Yes.
As well as several other issues. But tell us about your experience with gluten.
So I guess I started eating gluten-free a few years ago because I had found that I was getting a lot of like stomach cramps and different digestive issues. And a dietitian that I had worked with, she had helped me figure out exactly what was triggering that, and gluten was one of the big triggers. Since then, I've learned a lot and really dove into the gluten-free foods and started reading everything and finding out what really does contain gluten and what doesn't, and then looking for a lot of simple foods and looking for a lot of make your own type foods.
A lot of whole foods, it sounds like. When you say simple, you mean like
whole basic foods.
The
like
apple, the
fruit,
banana. In their natural
their original basic form that they're growing
You know, Mel, and I was just looking up gluten too. The word gluten is Latin for glue. The gluten holds the food together, the flour that holding the, and you can find other ways to hold the food together.
Yes. So like with a lot of the gluten-free, you become an amazing label reader.
Yes, definitely.
Because there are so many things that contain gluten, and it doesn't just say wheat.
Right, people don't realize, I think some like different, like even like dressings contain gluten and things. A lot of people think of like the bread products and the pasta, but there's so many.
So just list off for us some of the things that you see on labels that contain gluten. Like I know barley, rye.
Yep, another big one that some people don't realize is like modified food starch.
Is it like maltodextrin? Or is it, there's one of those?
I'm not sure about the maltodextrin one, but like I know modified food starch is a big one, and just some other things that are kind of disguised that they use, like some broader labels. If they'll say like wheat germ or different things like the germ of a plant. Like they're not as clear what they are unless you really dig in to figure out what the specific ingredients are.
Well, let's jump into the recipes, yes, because this smells amazing.
And again, we wish we had smell radars with our cameras, but this is a chocolate chip cookie recipe that is gluten-free, and the main ingredients is gluten-free flour. And like you said, nut flour or coconut flour can be used, almond flour. And this is the trick, and I've learned this, xanthan gum is a product that is the glue to that. Like if you're going to make pancakes with just bananas and water or, gluten, you can add xanthan gum too. So baking soda, salt, and honestly, cream cheese is in this recipe, unsalted butter, brown sugar, regular sugar, and then egg yolks. When you're doing a gluten-free recipe, egg yolks that's a tip to keep it a little bit more chewiness. And then the other tip when you bake the chocolate chip cookies is give it about a good 4 hours in the refrigerator, and that'll just, really help with the chewy and the yumminess of that.
They are
delicious.
Texture,
I should say, the texture of this.
They really are delicious.
Yeah. So then moving on, we have a gluten-free macaroni and cheese. And so the gluten-free in this is, of course, the shells, like you were talking to Lexi. You're going to read the recipe, and you're going to find gluten-free shells. And we're going to use our Organic Valley skim milk, a little salt and pepper, cayenne pepper, and some freshly grated Organic Valley cheeses. And there's your macaroni and cheese. You're going to, boil the pasta and then add the melted cheeses. And then Lexi, you have a recipe for us.
I also make my own bread. For my recipes, I use a combination of different flours because with a lot of the gluten-free flours, they don't act the same as wheat flour independently. So what I most often use is a combination of rice flour, potato starch, tapioca starch, and then the xanthan gum.
Okay.
One of the neat things about making your own gluten-free bread is other bread, from my understanding, you have to be careful not to like over knead it because it will get like, it doesn't rise correctly then.
Because you're breaking down the glue.
You're breaking down the gluten. So that is one thing that I think makes gluten-free bread less intimidating than what people think.
Yeah, because you can just go at it.
Yeah, so it's the mixture of the flours, yeast, sugar, water, and the xanthan gum.
Excellent.
Thank
Well,
you.
it's so great to have you on, Lexi.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, don't forget that you can find this and past editions of the Organic Foodie and the recipes you've seen on this show on our LYNXX24 Facebook page. And one sustainability tip, use blinds and curtains to your advantage. Open blinds during the day to keep to help warm a room and close them at night to keep out drafts, thereby helping your energy use. Well, we need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be filling you in on what's coming up in your community. Don't go anywhere.
The people of F&M Bank have been serving Tomah and the surrounding community for over 100 years. With 3 locations and a full suite of mobile services, we make doing business with us convenient and easy. Free bill pay, mobile app, remote deposit capture, even free person-to-person payments. We also have loan and savings options, along with a complete lineup of business banking and cash management options. F&M Bank, banking solutions from people you trust.
Because the health and well-being of your family are precious, you can trust Robbie's Pharmacy to make your privacy our priority. At Robbie's Pharmacy, your prescription consultations are both personal and discreet. Explain your medications and answer questions you may have. Robbie's Pharmacy has a solid commitment to you and our local New Lisbon community. Robbie's Pharmacy, the personal service you want with the professional staff you deserve.
You're watching LYNXX24, connecting you to the community.
Welcome back to LYNXX24. Here's a look at what's coming up in your community. The Tomah Haiti Mission Team will be holding a father-daughter dance from 6 until 9 p.m. on March 3rd in the Tomah Middle School gym. Admission is $10 per dad or father figure, and a dad can bring as many girls as he'd like for that price. So your uncle could take you too.
Yes. The tickets will be available at the door.
Okay.
And attire is semi-formal. This event is geared toward daughters ages 2 through 18.
Sounds like a great event.
This is a fun event, April. Tell us about this one.
Well, get your tickets now for the Dairyland Donkey Basketball taking place March 4th at Olson Middle School. There we go. That's where I work in the real. So, and when do the games start, Mel?
The games will start at 2 p.m. and with the FFA students taking on the Mauston High School students, followed by a game of teachers versus community celebrities. The tickets are $10 at the door and $7 in advance. Available at the Bank of Mauston, Northside Mobile, Festival Foods, and the Mauston Chamber of Commerce. And I have to tell you, you have to go to this. I've been to a donkey basketball before, and it's hilarious. Like, these are real live donkeys.
Yes.
And they have to ride on the donkeys and play this game of basketball.
I've seen it
is to
like
die
about
for.
20 years ago when I first got into education.
Really?
Yeah, so I know it's a big thing.
It's so much fun.
Well, thank you to Dennis Birr and Lexi Felton for being part of our show this week, and for Organic Valley for sponsoring this month's edition of the Organic Foodie. Next week, we'll be joined by some of the skaters from the Seven Rivers Figure Skating Club, who will be filling us in on their upcoming spring show, and author T.E. Veneer will be talking about his latest book. Thank you to our sponsors and all of you at home for tuning in to LYNXX24. Mel, where we're connecting you to the community.
something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over